As you saw in the thumbnail, we've got ourselves a basement waterproofing project to do today. This house has an old section and a newer section. The newer section was built much more recently, but this portion was built back in the 70s, I think, something like that. And it's got a block foundation. They've got this nice stone on top of it, but it's letting water into the basement on this side and on this side. Now, there are a bunch of different ways to go about solving basement water issues. There's only really one that I like to suggest to customers because it's the one that I know will 100% solve the problem, and there's no chance of them spending a bunch of money not to have something work out. The two main solutions are to put a footer drain on the inside of the footer down in the basement, where somebody has to go down there, cut or break up the floor, dig a little bit, put a pipe in, put a little bit of stone around it, and put the floor back on top of it. It's a lot of manual labor, but it's a lot less work overall. The other one is what we're doing, where we're gonna dig up around the outside of the foundation, waterproof the outside of the wall with a sealer, put some insulation on it to help both drainage and the insulation value of the wall, and then put a new footer drain at the bottom of the wall below the interior floor level of the house. So that's what you're gonna see today. First things first, we gotta get in here and get digging. Now, as you might imagine here, digging next to a house, we've got to be super careful about absolutely everything. We got to get the machine close enough to the house to dig, but we can't hit the house with anything because we'll tear stuff up really quick if we do. The ticket is to get the machine in position, and then you leave it in a position where nothing can hit the house, and you can dig and only have to worry about your digging. So like right here, I got this knuckle that sticks out on the side where the cylinder attaches to the boom, and that's always the closest thing to the house. As long as I get myself set up and I don't pull the machine from its position, I can swing this machine back and forth to dig really close to the house and not have to worry about hitting anything, because as long as the machine doesn't move, it won't be any closer. Something else I gotta worry about on this particular part of the dig is the boom in the gutter. It can touch the gutter up there if I'm not careful. Thankfully on this house, it's not super tight. On some houses, it's incredibly tight, but we got enough wiggle room here that we should have no trouble. I'm gonna start digging in this corner here, see how it goes. This kind of work takes a lot more focus than just digging willy-nilly out in the field somewhere. Every single movement has to be careful and intentional, and there's just no opportunity for putting the machine in a place where it can't afford to go. Now that we got this opened up a little bit here, you can see the waterproofing efforts on the new part of the building. Unfortunately, it looks like they didn't backfill it quite correctly, and it broke the drainage board that they put on there. But that's okay, that's still working good enough that there's no problems on that part of the house. We're working on this wall. Aiden's finding all kinds of treasures. Looks like evidence of previous downspout drainage efforts, which is just fine for us to dig out. We're gonna put new downspout drainage in. We wanna dig as close to this wall as we can so we don't have to have extra dirt that we gotta get out of here, and so don't have to have extra backfill material to put in here. This stick-on stone that you see here to the right does make it so we have to hold off just a little bit further, but it's not so much dirt that Aiden can't scrape it off the wall there. We're gonna keep digging just like this until we find the footer down there. We're getting along pretty good here. We found the footer down there, and we're digging down just a little bit deeper beside it. You wanna be 4 or 5 inches deeper than the top of the footer down there, so we got room to lay our pipe in below the elevation of the top of the footer. We got the whole bench back on the left side there. You can see I dug a little bit down, so that way when we're working down in there, we're not exposed to any hazards of the trench collapsing on us. And we're also legally required to do that by OSHA and everything. But I'm a little less interested in that and more interested in not dying. So the rules are the rules. They're good rules to follow, but for lots of different reasons. The next challenge I'm having is that I'm pretty tight on space here. As you can see, we got about a 1/4 inch right down in there between this knuckle and this meter box. So I'm gonna have to dig as close as I can to the machine right here, and then I'll have to move the machine out around the meter box and then closer to the house over there. Well, folks, I have made a substantial mistake that I am disappointed in, but I'm not going to get mad about it because I've decided getting mad doesn't do anybody any good. Right here is our conduit that goes into the house for the electric line up to the meter, and right there is where I broke it. This here is just old downspout line, it's irrelevant, and we're digging it out anyway. And that up there is just a small outlet. We didn't hit that, but right here, I caught it hard enough to crack the conduit, and so we're gonna have to repair that. This came from me just being super focused on digging, not hitting the house, that kind of thing, and that conduit coming out an angle, it crept up on me. The further away from the house we are, the closer to the machine it was, if that makes sense. So I had in my head it was coming out at 90. I knew it wasn't. I saw the markings from the call, from the oops guys that mark out the utilities. And I was so focused on what I was doing that I forgot that it came out at an angle. It's not the end of the world. We'll get it taken care of. Just a small setback. We gotta be really careful to dig around the rest of this. We wanna reduce hand digging as much as possible, so we wanna do as much as we can with the machine, but we can't afford to do any more damage to that thing. So I'm gonna have Aiden give me directions, and I'll do the digging, and it should go well. Alrighty, Aiden, you tell me when I'm just about touching that conduit.
Alright. Right there. Down.
Can I come back anymore? Does that come down? Let me know when I can come back towards you a little bit. There we go. We want to.
Should be mostly clear of it now.
Excellent. Yeah, I want to try and reach up under there as far as I can and get as much of that dirt as I can, so I don't have to shovel it. Yeah, I see that big old slab about to cave off there. There we go. That saved us some labor. Saved you some labor, to be clear. I don't want to pretend like I'm getting much benefit out of it. Okay, guide me again if you can. I'm going to even track towards you this time after we get down under there. Okay, do I need to come farther to get the dirt down there or no? Oh, not helping. More hurting than helping. Okay. I'll pull this out of here and we'll do it again. Alrighty, right here is our mark for where the septic line comes out of the house. I'm not taking no chances. I don't think it's super deep, so I'm just gonna do a little hand digging. See if I can find it this way. Hey, there it is, okay. That was a much better way to find that. Super shallow, so that makes life a lot easier. We'll get this cleared out around and we'll keep on going. There we go. We gotta be super gentle all over again. It's kind of the theme of these jobs. Digging up close to structures and crossing utilities, that kind of thing. Aiden, you wanna kind of scrape that pipe off a little bit for me? Thank you. Alrighty, we're not going to dig this bench lower than the grade of the pipe because I don't want to disturb the support for it out there. So you can just toss these crumbs. I can't get real close with the machine. Just toss them crumbs back into the hole. I'll pick them up. This right here will be our last utility. After this, it should be pretty free and clear. Please notice I said should be. Always a surprise somewhere. Okay, now I want to kind of get the dirt to fall away from the bottom side of that pipe. That way we don't have to do it by hand. Every time I enter the trench with the machine, I got to be careful I'm not smashing that gutter up there. And every time I come out of the trench with the machine, I got to make sure I swing before I get all the way up. And all it takes is one time that I don't make sure I do that, and it ruins everything. Sometimes when you're digging a little bit deeper, you got to adjust machine position more often to compensate, because you can't reach far out and down so far. There we go. That was some nice dirt falling away from the pipe there. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Try to pull some dirt off the top of this. All right, now I got this all undermined underneath this pipe, so I can just take a shovel, poke it through. If I had a little better geometry with everything here, I don't, but if I had a little better geometry, I could even do this with a machine. The situation you gotta be careful about with this is you don't wanna find this, whoopsie, you don't want to find yourself in a position where this pipe is supporting a bunch of dirt. The pipe's not made to do that. Now, I did call and report my utility strike like you're supposed to do, and they do not want me to repair this. So some linemen came out, they pulled the face off the meter box. They're gonna figure out what's the best solution to fix this. It'll probably cost me more than it would have cost if I fixed it myself. But if something goes wrong and I fixed it myself and I didn't report it, I get busted for breaking the law, and somebody else has got to come out and fix it right. So if nothing else, out of the interest of reducing my own liability, it's just better to call and have them fix it. I'm not going to film them because not everybody likes to have their work recorded, and I just don't want to be rude. But I'll show you the repair once they're all done, and I'll talk about what they decide to do. All right, now we can dig on the other side of this pipe. Pull some dirt off the top of it here. It's tricky because it's really hard to dig shallow under this eave. I gotta keep the bucket low enough to not hit that gutter. I can't go too low because I'll hit that pipe. Yes, there we go. All right, now we're free and clear to the end of the building. We're coming up to the corner here. We're gonna get this tidied up. We'll make the corner, and it should be smooth sailing from there on out the rest of the end of the day. Rounding the corner now, and there's a bunch of things on this side of the house that are a little bit nicer than working on the other side of the house. One, at least at this time of day, we're not staring into the sun. For two, we don't have the eave overhead. At least it's not nearly as close because this is the end of the house. And as you can see, it's peaked. And then also, there's just no underground utilities over here. And that makes things go a little bit faster. That pipe I just broke off, that's a downspout pipe. We're going to be replacing it anyway. Not a big deal if we're losing that. There it is, folks. What looks to be some concrete and some steel here. It's got a triangle shape. I kind of think this is old, like, antenna tower or something that was right here on the corner of the house. I'm sure there's going to be more of it we got to dig up. Oh, the things you find once you start opening up the ground. We are cruising right down along this wall here, and we've got this big old section of dirt that's gonna fall in here now. Go ahead and push it in there, Aiden. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Nice, look at that clean wall. That's so nice, we don't have to scrape all that off. That's a lot of dirt. It's super important to keep that from falling on people. It may not seem like a lot of weight, but that will crush and pin you so fast you won't know what to do with yourself. Here we are, we got this whole end dug out, we got this whole side dug out. For the most part, all the digging is done. Now we need to get these dirt piles out of the way. That's what Aiden's working on right now. You can see him over there, he's just gonna skid load these all and make a big pile over there for now. I'm gonna pick up all our pipe trash, get that consolidated. Then the next thing we're gonna do is getting ready to put new pipe down in the trench. Here's that conduit repair from earlier. And basically just a 2-piece split unit that they sandwich over the pipe, slip into the coupler where this coupler already was, and then it goes over top of the pipe down here, where this is just a normal sized pipe. So that's what that looks like. Said this wouldn't cost $1. Mighty kind of them. Down here in the trench, we've got a nice level spot dug by hand with the laser to make sure it's level the whole way around. Footer drains need to be level and they need to be low enough to be below the floor grade inside. This little footer here, as you can see, there's a little bit of concrete here. It's not well defined, but the floor inside of the basement sits on top of that. So as long as our pipe is below the top of the footer, our pipe is below the floor elevation inside. I measured from the corner inside the building down to where our sump basin is inside here, and I measured outside and added 8 inches for the thickness of the wall, and this is approximately where our sump pump basin is. So I'm gonna have to dig under the footer here, punch a hole in that basin so we can run our pipe in there. First things first, we gotta start by digging down right here. Normally digging under a footer like this would be incredibly challenging in the limited confines of this trench, but we have just a tool to make it easier. This unit here ought to do the job nicely. Gee whiz, it's strong. When you use this thing, you gotta just be okay with the chance of getting punched in the face by the batteries. Oh. It literally just happened. It smacked me in the chin. Guess I shouldn't have put my chin in the way. Here we go, I'll put my belly button in the way. I discovered it helps if I just kind of stiff arm it here. Alrighty, we're 27 inches in from the edge of the footer. The footer is 5 or so inches past the edge of the block. The outside of the block here should be 21 inches from the basin. So we should be just about there. Huh. Maybe we're there. I like to reach my hand in there to feel it. I'm not sure if I can reach that far. Hey! That's it, I feel it. That's very good. That process went a lot faster than it would have gone if we had to do this by hand. Okay, now we just got to find a way to poke a hole through it, and then we'll know where to cut the basin on the inside. Alright, I stuck the bit down in here. I'm just going to give it a couple taps with a sledge, and hopefully that'll dimple that thing enough that we can see the dimple and use that as a marker for where to cut the basin from the inside. Alright, I don't expect you to be able to see it, but my mark is right here. So I'm going to see if I can wiggle this hole saw down in here enough without getting everything wet or taking off the sump pump to make a cut. Oh my goodness. Hey, I think we got it. Oh my goodness, okay, we need a slower speed. just put my thumb into some slime. All right, we're there. Perfect. All right, that lines up. You can see our dirt there. We still got to pull that back. We don't want to end up in our sump here. Throw some of them shavings off that water. We need to go back outside now, pull all that dirt back, then we'll pop this seal in and stick our pipe through. We got our dirt away from in there. Just gonna pop this seal in. This will seal between the pipe and the crock here. So that way we don't have to worry about dirt and sand and all that washing in. Okay. There we go. Alrighty folks, I'm on the outside now. I'm gonna push a tape measure in here. We're gonna have Aiden measure when we've got an inch of protrusion into the basin. What does it look like there?
You're at an inch right there.
An inch there? Alrighty, that means I know how long I need to cut my piece out here. I'll cut it and then I'll push a pipe to you, okay? Alrighty, I got the pipe wiggled into my hole here. Aiden, you might have to kind of guide it. Once it gets close, should be close. Can you see it?
I can.
Tell me when to push.
It's pushing the bottom of the seal out.
Do you think I should cut a bevel on the pipe, or should I do some more digging somewhere?
I would say probably a bevel.
Okay. Actually, that involves switching the blades and everything. I'm gonna do a little digging where I was pushing hard on the trench here. I'll try that first. Okay, I'm kind of knocking the corner off with my knife. Once I get that done, I'll push it through again. Okay, coming through.
Okay.
Push?
Yep. You're through.
Okay, we got about an inch. Just approximately an inch, you know.
I'd say so.
Okay, perfect. Gather up your tools and head on out here. Thank you.
Yep.
There we go. Our pipe's under the footer. We just gotta glue it up. Glue a pipe that way, glue a pipe this way, get all of it glued. Then we'll be ready for the next step. We got that all glued up, but I did get ahead of myself. We need to put fabric in here before the pipe goes in.
Was the cut by the conduit good?
Not yet.
Okay.
Now it's time to throw pipe in the hole. You may notice that this pipe has these little holes in it. And if you don't understand why, I'll explain everything here in just a little bit. This pipe actually has 2 rows of holes in it, and we're gonna face those holes down, which actually works out just so that this line of letters is straight on top. You might think, why would pipe have holes in it? That seems super unusual. Pipe is supposed to hold water or whatever else, and putting holes in it makes that not possible. But I want you to consider a new perspective that you may or may not be familiar with. I want you to think about the pipe being used to hold the ground open and create a linear cavity for water to flow through, rather than the pipe being a vessel through which the water flows. And why I want you to think about that is because the ground is full of water. It might not be right now because of the time of year we're in, but typically it's got a lot of water in it. So the whole function of this pipe is to let that water flow in through those holes and then keep the ground back and open so that way water can flow freely to a destination. You're gonna have to lift that end up to sneak it in here. Well, we didn't get that all the way in there, so I'm gonna try to slobber this up a little bit more. The glue acts as a lubricant to slide the pipes together, and so we wanna make sure we have plenty on the pipes. Okay. Yep. Now give it all you got. There, that's it. I saw it stop moving like it hit the bottom. Just hold that there for a second. That's probably good. Once we get all this pipe in, we're going to fill this whole trench up with gravel. And gravel also allows water to flow through it. Not as good as the pipe does, but it does allow water to flow. And so any water that seeps through the ground will then flow down through the stone and into this pipe, and then it'll go into that sump basin where the sump pump will pump it out. And that's how you keep a basement dry. We just want to give the water an easier place to go. Water always follows the path of least resistance, so we just want to give it the easiest place possible. That's what the pipe does. We put the holes down because, again, the pipe is not about holding water, it's about letting the water flow in. So the water can come down and enter the pipe at the lowest level possible. That'll keep the water level in the trench as low as possible, and that'll keep the water below the floor level in the basement. The next thing we're gonna do is just throw a little bit of stone on top of the pipe just to hold it in place. Now, the reason we're only putting a little bit of stone in here instead of going full bore with it and filling things up is because I still need to pressure wash and waterproof this wall. Pressure washing it is going to make a ton of water in here, so I want to have the pipe installed and I want to have some stone in here to keep from making a bunch of mud, but we can't go ham because we got to still do work on the wall. Well, folks, there it is. Everything is clean. Took some hydraulic cement and patched a couple spots that were suspicious. Nothing crazy, definitely no structural cracks. Just a little bit of here and there, you know. Our pipe is in, we got stone around it. It is stable and in place, we don't have to worry about it moving. It's the end of a long day. It was supposed to be shorter, but my pressure washer started kind of giving up towards the end of it. So it just took longer than expected. I got a subcontractor coming tomorrow that specializes in sealing with waterproofing material. They will also install some drain board, some insulating drain board on the outside of the foundation. That is something that's super important to get just right, and so I am happy to hire somebody that does that every single day. Sometimes it's better to just know your limitations and let somebody else who's better at something do it for you rather than to just tackle it yourself. Unfortunately, I have to go to another job tomorrow, so I won't be here to film what their process looks like, but I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done.
Good morning, everybody. We are back here. It's been a couple days, but while we were gone, the waterproofing crew came in and got the foundation all ready to go. As you guys can see here, they did a real good job getting in here, sealing up the entire basement. So we're gonna start making some trips and start filling the hole with some stone. All right, we got a good bit of stone spread throughout all the way around the foundation here. The reason I'm doing that is so that if for some reason I run out of stone, it's spread evenly throughout the trench instead of being completely full down there and completely empty down there. I'm gonna keep spreading some stone. I'll catch back up with you guys when I either finish or when I run out of stone. Well, I have run out of stone, but I got it all spread fairly evenly, and then I went through and raked it all out. Nice even layer. So just a little bit more stone, we'll be all set.
I'm back on the job site. I had to go do some stuff on some other job sites, so Aiden worked on the stone here, as you guys saw. It turned out great. We did have to splash a little bit more in. I just didn't have enough for him, but we did that quick this morning, and now we're good to go. Now we've folded that fabric back over the stone. Aiden's putting some dirt in here, and then we're gonna dress it up with topsoil on top. It is dusty, dusty, dusty today. We're definitely gonna have to check the air filters on that thing after this job. Normally, if I can, I try to bring stone as far up on the foundation as possible. In this scenario, the client wants to have flower beds around the outside of the house, and if we brought stone right up to just like 6 inches of topsoil, those flower beds would dry out super fast, and the late season plants might have a hard time. I'm not an expert on small plants, but we want to give them some dirt there to kind of hold some moisture. It won't ever be enough moisture to get into the basement, but hopefully it'll be enough to keep some plants alive. We got that all filled up to just 6 inches shy of final grade. But before we bring dirt on around the corner here, we need to put downspout drains in for 2 downspouts that we had to deal with here. We got our stone graded out real nice. We sloped it. It's just shy of 1%. We're gonna go down there. We're gonna make our discharge pipe go out this way, send it over to the woods. We got our trench all dug to grade here. Aiden's just finishing up getting the last little crumbs out of the corner there. Goes up to the house. We're gonna throw all of our pipe together. Got it laid out there. And just like that, we'll have drainage. I actually had to go run and pick up some topsoil to put the finishing touch on this project. While I was gone, Aiden glued up a ton of this pipe. He got all that done, around the corner here, up to the house. And then when I got here, I helped him put this little bit in across the house there and tie it into both the downspout there and a sump pump. Now you might see some misalignment here. Don't worry, don't fret. Our drain is right here, the downspout's right there. And the reason for that is the customer's gonna have some new gutters put on, and they're gonna move the downspout over, kick it back to this wall, and come down this wall, so that way it doesn't inhibit use of the outdoor outlet like the existing downspout is doing. Down here we got the same thing going on. We want a little more distance between the downspout and the sump pump discharge, so we move this stack over, so that way they can move the downspout over and put it right here when they put new gutters on. We just gotta fold this fabric over now, put some dirt on top of things, and then touch it all up with some topsoil. Well, we're working late to get this all finished up, and the customer had some sympathy on us, and I am super thankful. They made us snickerdoodles. Literally couldn't have been anything nicer right now. I haven't even eaten yet today because I've been in such a rush all day, and this is cookies for dinner is always the best dinner, you know? Well, there it is, folks. We got our topsoil spread, got it graded out real nice. I love using screen topsoil to finish off a project because you can just make it look just nice. You can see our window wells here. We've got stone in the bottom of them, so any water that gets in there will immediately drain all the way down to the footer drain. This house was kind of built too low almost, or at least it was backfilled too high. It's kind of a strange situation. There's not a lot of opportunity to get slope away from the house. So we've got dirt as close up underneath that stone there as we can, which means that it's really close to the top of these window wells. It all works out nice. The sun is setting over there on the other side of the house, as you can see, and it's nice and beautiful, but we want to be home, don't we, Aiden?
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna go ahead and send Aiden home. I'm gonna tidy up the rest of this here, get it as pretty as I can get it with the material that's here, and I'm gonna load up and we're gonna head home. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoyed making this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I did notice that a lot of my viewers aren't subscribed. So if you're not subscribed and you like this kind of stuff, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content I'm putting out there for you. If you could do me a huge favor, hit that like button too. Doesn't cost you a dime and helps out the channel a ton. As always, I love you guys. We'll see you next time.